Oh shit. Okay. Oops. I don't know. You know what? This I was gonna do the reason why I said that was because I don't know if you even caught what I said. Okay, we're gonna pretend I'm starting again. Okay, 3, 2. Okay, so this isn't gonna be a tarot reading right now. I'm gonna do what I gotta do right here and say what I gotta say in this real quick, and then I'm gonna do a tarot reading. So if you only want a tarot reading, then you know, whatever. But this is I'm gonna read a little tiny excerpt from the book that I've been writing, okay? And this is kind of like a PSA, I guess, and I'm having a hard time. I should have like organized my words maybe, but I figured it would come out easier. Anyway, okay. So since I am obviously not like a super serious person, right? It's kind of like hard to receive this information from me because of the sarcasm, I guess, or, you know, cartoonish quality, I guess, right? You know, but I've had different understandings and awarenesses with what's going on, you know, in society, like around the globe for a long time. And I kind of was trying to inform other people for a long time, but it was just so like, there was no reception. It was like, you know, there was no, you know, everybody was just like, okay, crazy, whatever, you know. And so I kind of just like subsided. I stayed with the awareness of what the information I'd, you know, come to or whatever, you know, like I stayed aware of this, but it just kind of, I stopped pushing it upon other people in a certain way. Okay. But so I'm just going to read this really quick. So it says, at this time in my life, I was talking about something previously, but around 2010, I'd been plagued by the whole 2012 Mayan end of the world prophecy, okay? And had been researching every possible end of time scenario. I didn't know it at the time, but my research was really the best way to combat the constant displeasure and stress of the upcoming unknown scenario in my life, okay? And that was a partial joke, but it was, okay? So I learned all about the tectonic plates and fault lines, impending asteroids, cultural and old world prophecies, climate change, gravitational shifts, magnetic shifts, planetary shifts. The list goes on. I'm sure you can imagine my frazzled persona, but I kept my cool and dealt with my day by day, all while imagining how many kids I could strap onto my back and how many I could fit in my arms while running away from the collapsing trenches and liquid hot lava / magma erupting all around me. I kept my cool. Okay, so that's just a little quick, little part, okay? But, then, okay, I'm just gonna read it on. It says, then one day, within a few weeks of this first experience, I was overcome by the stress of an old high school acquaintance at the time being in a coma. I tried to pass the time by watching the news. Big mistake. Death, death, death. Or died. Explosion, plague, terror. What deadly food do you have in your mouth right now? News at 11. It was too much for me to take. I fell down to the floor with my head on my couch, asking what type of God would allow for such atrocities to occur. How could all this be happening? If God only wants love, how could he be okay with so much pain? Okay, so I don't know if I need to read that part. But that's another part of like an experience that I had like with all these spiritual aspects or whatever, you know. So I was like shown certain awarenesses at that point. But so I just wanted to like read that part. Within the research that I did, it was, you know, obviously I learned all these different things about, you know, natural, you know, disasters and, you know, man-made disasters and, you know, the prophecy and all these things. But also when I, you know, dug into these tunnels, I found out, my phone's going down. I found out about, you know, these like seedy underground types of lifestyles and behaviors and ways of like, you know, people who have money type of thing and power, you know. And I found out about, you know, all the things that have been like coming out with like the Epstein files and all that stuff. Like I'd found out about those things. I had an awareness. I tried to like allow or, you know, inform people, and they're like, okay, yeah, whatever, you know. But like it's gotten to the point where it's like every single thing that it seems like they're trying to cover up, this is what they're doing right here, it's like all just some type of fabrication, you know. And they can tell anyone, anything, you know, just how we've seen all those videos of the news where it just says the same exact word for word statement all across the board, all across the US or wherever, you know. And it's just like, that's the story that they've been feeding us at this point for so long. But there all these things where people are questioning, oh, I don't know if he did, I don't know if that happened. It happened, he did. And this has been going on. It's way farther out there than you know, people even want to appreciate the fact of, you know, all the celebrities who've been leaving the United States and moving to other places for whatever, like, look into the laws there and see what they're trying to get immunity from or something. And I'm probably putting myself in like not a good spot right now, but like, this is like all true where you know, they have these systems. It goes all the way, it's all the way up to the top, all the way down to the very you know, underground type of thing, right? You know, but there's certain things that you know, people, average person who's just living their life, like it sounds crazy and, you know, so outlandish, you know, but all of these things are relevant, and there's really a need for everyone to get to this greater understanding instead of having their head in their, you know, their nose in the, you know, whatever that isn't being, you know, made aware of these, you know, situations, like, you know, the reality of what is occurring, you know. Like I the whole time watching, you know, from 2016 and before that, you know, it was like appalling to think that this is even happening. Like, where's the joke, you know? When are we gonna wake up from this like nightmare, right? You know, and instead of it being, you know, just obvious across the board like it should be, right? You know, people are labeling things and putting their own desires on top of a situation to make something else be okay, when it's just justifying it for your own benefit instead of allowing for the true recognition of the baseless and nasty behavior that's been going on, or, you know, the perpetrating of, you know, one's personal agenda, no matter how it affects others, right? You know, so all these things that, like, I don't even know if I really want to like get into super detail, and it's kind of an interesting situation because I'm always the one who has the broader knowledge, because I don't want to get deep into like the, you know, not minuscule, but like, you know, the minute details, you know, like I don't, you know, I'm not the one who's wanting to get into the nitty gritty. You know, a large enough awareness formed is okay, and I can back up and have that awareness and then like be like, what can I do about this? But like, I have someone in my family who gets into detail, and we're always constantly having to go back and forth where it's like, okay, you know, I don't need to know all that, but there's so much nasty, derailed behavior that's been going on for so long, and it's like systematically been approved in different ways. It's just hidden, and like people, you know, what everybody has their skeletons in their closets, and so, you know, does society, I guess, right? You know, so it's like, instead of having this outlook of it being like so appalling and so far-fetched, there needs to be a recognition that this is actually true at a large scale. The control, I looked up that on accident. I ended up getting to the WHO website before I knew who was the WHO and all those things, right? You know, crap. I'm gonna have to like put asterisks or something. But anyway, so I found out about that agenda a long time ago, where it's written on the website exactly what they're wanting. They're wanting to corral basically people out of areas that aren't, you know, that they want to keep everybody into like populated areas. They want to keep everybody out of the natural environment. They want to preserve the natural nature, but what they're doing is they're controlling and regulating where others can lead themselves along in the earth in any way, right? They want to control and regulate the water, the food. They've been doing all these things, right? We've seen all of these things, you know, like Bill Gates right there. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Oh no. I need to have code words. Shit. this film that they have now that you can't even take off of, you can't wash it off, you can't peel it off. It's just a, you know, now you're eating this pesticide every single time you are, and it's not just, hi, it's not just, you know, something that they're spraying on, like it's like this like thing that's supposed to like, it's like a plastic seal or something, right? You know, and that's another thing. They've been, you know, regulating the meat, making fake meat, growing, you know, meat from, they're saying apparently the easiest meat for them to grow is the human meat. So they're using human stem cells to fucking grow, to grow this meat for us to eat, right? There's pink slime. Ever since I was a child and open up a chicken nugget, I'm like, where's the bubbles in a chicken, right? You know, where's the bubbles? Like, there's no freaking bubbles. It's been pink goo for longer than they've even allowed us to know. And now they're putting it in everything. It's just, they've been, you know, putting, you know, water is a living organism. They've been poisoning this, that we need water to live off of. They're taking people and putting them in wherever they choose. You know, like, it's all these things. It's like people need to stop thinking, oh, your government, or, you know, they have what's, you know, in our best interest or whatever. Like, it's been that these things, there's a channel. It's not every single person. Okay, I know I'm going all over the place, right? But there's the higher ups, the middle people, the security or the enforcers, and then there's the people who are, you know, everyday lifestyle, whatever. You know, if there's an avenue where someone is doing this and they're meeting in another avenue where somebody else is doing this, and then they're doing it, and it's gonna find its way up. It's gonna find its way back down, and people are gonna find who they need or who's gonna work with them in whatever scenario. Just like that place in that Alabama freaking nastiness where they're, you know, fucking I don't even want to. Where they found a bunch of children, right? Like, those people found each other because they're all degenerates, right? And they're freaking lowlifes, and that's how it's gonna be. Wherever you go, there's gonna be some type of avenue, you know, and people need to create the awareness in order to create that, you know, blockade from this being allowed to occur. Because right now we're 2025. That's one of the agendas, right? We already know that. Then they have this one new Esther thing. And I know, like, it's not like just because everybody has an agenda doesn't mean it's going to come forward. But if they get the power and the strength without having to, you know, have the pushback, they can enforce these new rules and regulations. And people who aren't aware of the full story are just going to go along with, oh, it's just a little slight change. It's just a slight change. No. These are, you know, what they're inching. You give them an inch, right? They take a mile. So this is what's been going on for years and years and years. And, you know, I'm going to stop now. Okay. I feel uncomfortable. But, then there's, you know, I had this, like, recycling, thing, you know, where it's, like, all these different, you know, possibilities of change and shifting. Instead of having so much waste, we can, you know, recycle these things. And I had this whole plan and this, you know, thing that I couldn't get it off the ground because of, you know, just being me, right? Hey! And this guy, I've been watching other people who are doing their part. They're doing their part, you know, and it's these different things that I've envisioned are coming to life, right? And now this one guy who had something that he was doing, that was one of those ideas, right? He's now gone missing, and he's been creating plastic fuel that can run your car, you know, and now he's been missing for the past 2 weeks. And he even said he was, you know, being followed, and, you know, helicopters surrounding him, different things, and, you know, some type of form of harassment. So anyway, I know I'm putting myself out there right now with this, but I do, you know, this tarot here on my page, and I'm trying to just help people in a, you know, uplifting way, right? But I'm on my normal page, I'm constantly just posting all this, you know, what other people would consider nonsense. Leftist, liberal, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a person who cares about people in society. It's not about money. It's not about, you know, your status. It's not about freaking your aspect or your outlook of greed. You know, I'm not saying you, but whoever is in that position, right? You know, it's not about that. It's about the well-being of every person, every being, every animal, right? Every plant. There's this other guy saying that they're trying to create a new highway and cutting down all another whole chunk of the Amazon again, right? You know, so it's like there's constantly things that, you know, oh, well, it's better for society because the thing is blah, 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 whatever, you know, it's like, no, there are better ways to handle situations, and it's not about what's easiest and the quick fix and all those other things. So, anyway, I am going to go now. But if this has done anything, hopefully it's created an awareness to no longer be so hesitant to, you know, kind of believe what it is that's so sounding so outlandish, right? You know, and you know what I recognize too is like within, you know, the internet age, like there was like things that were just being tossed out there, like I got a book, I got a page, I'm gonna take a picture, I'm gonna upload this thing, and now it's online, you know, and that's what everybody did. And then there's things that were, you know, true that other people didn't want to get out there, right? So then they start spreading all this false news, all these fake stories, all, you know, for every truth, you know, there's 20 false ones that try and get you off track. So it's really a matter of using your discernment and navigating through in a true way, you know, and when something, you know, is true, is, you know, being falsified or something, you know, express yourself and say what's really happening, because that's what's going on right now. There's so many people who are like, oh yeah, I don't know, oh yeah, I don't know, and you know, we all know what's going on, and it just, you don't want to know the depths of it, but there's definitely it goes far reaching, you know. So I don't know, I hope this helps somehow, but just don't question what's obviously right in front of your face right now, okay? And make the difference. Everybody's like, I don't know, it doesn't affect me or this or that. Don't wait till it affects you before you try and make the change, right? Because who's gonna be there, right? That's like that quote. Who's gonna be there when you know, all the people that it didn't affect you, now it's affecting you, but nobody's there to help save or protect you, right? So help others as you can, and hopefully this is helpful. All right. I'm going to pop back on with the reading. All right, bye.